button.
In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to another Room2Breathe Podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so happy that you made space to be here with us today. Now, before we get into this episode, do me a quick favor. If you're feeling our vibes, go ahead and show some love. Tap the screen, like, comment, but most importantly, I need you to share this out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here or you have yet to do so, please go ahead and hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also wish to personally invite you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org. There, you will find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch and a ton of free resources to help nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, I encourage you to give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, for growth, but most importantly for you. And if anything in today's episode hits home, I want you to drop a green heart in the chat. That is our community's way of saying I am healing, I am growing, and I am showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. I want to start by giving a shout out to everyone I see in the building today. We got Brooks, Miss Gloria, Kale, Blue, Mars. The heart coach stopped in. Who else is in the building with us, y'all? Let me see. I'm trying to scroll. I don't know, guys. Drop some green hearts in the chat if I haven't shouted you out already. A Dot was in the house. I don't know who else is in here. The screen is moving. Brooks is in the building. Hey, Brooks. Hey, LaShonda. Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, let me stop being silly, y'all. I got a topic for us today, y'all. I actually have a word of the day for us. And it's a word that I think that a lot of people may not even be familiar with, right? Because, I mean, what's the point of giving a word of the day that y'all already know, right? So I'm going to teach y'all something different today. So the word of the day, and y'all going to get to put it in the chat, is metanoia. Metanoia. Has anybody ever heard of that word before? Metanoia? It sounds like something that I made up, right? Let me make sure I'm spelling it right for y'all. In the chat, metanoia, METANOIA. Metanoia. All right, so let me teach you something. I knew I had to dig deep to find something new for y'all. So today's theme is metanoia. And every time metanoia resonates with y'all in this conversation, I need y'all to put it in the chat, okay? Metanoia, we're going to talk about the deep change that reshapes everything, okay? So we're going to talk about something that's not just a concept, all right? It's an experience. Metanoia is not, just a word that you look up in the dictionary, y'all, okay? It's a moment, a shift, a surrender. It's that sacred place between where your soul whispers or sometimes screams that I can't keep living like this. Something has to change. And that change starts with me. Notice that word starts with me, met, me at the beginning, right? And so I want to be honest with you. Metanoia, just like any other part of healing, is not pretty. It's not the soft light, inspirational music all the time. It's not always a peaceful walk in the park or a slow exhale on your yoga mat. Sometimes metanoia feels like your whole life is being flipped upside down. Not to punish you, but to wake you up. Because real transformation rarely happens when we're comfortable, right? Sometimes it happens in the chaos. Sometimes it happens in the unraveling. And so that's what I want us to be able to talk about today, just to kind of get into the deeper parts of healing. Sometimes, it looks like the moments that you don't post about on social media, like sitting in your car trying to gather yourself before you walk into a job that drains you. Starting a text message thread, realizing that you've outgrown the environments that you keep shrinking for. Waking up, one day and admitting that the love you begged for wasn't love at all. Feeling the weight of exhaustion from pretending that you're okay when your spirit is tired of performing. Or maybe finally choosing yourself without needing permission for applause, just peace. And so I guess I should have started by breaking down what metanoia is. Let me explain to you. Again, it's pronounced metanoia, and it is a Greek word that means deep. It means a deep, transformative change of heart, mind, and spirit. So first and foremost, can we all agree that we're going through a stage of metanoia, right? And when you think about metanoia, you guys, it's not just a simple shift in thinking. It is that kind of inner transformation that changes the way you see yourself, your life, your purpose, your relationships. Metanoia happens when something inside of you says, I cannot keep living like this, that something has to change. And that change begins with who? Me, right? It is a spiritual, emotional, and mental turning point. And so I knew that this word would land with everybody because I'm like, we are all going through this season of metanoia, right? It looks like losing who we thought we were, just shifting, right? So we can make room for who we actually are. And so, yeah, just like any other part of healing, metanoia is messy, but it's holy. It's the silent inner renovation that nobody else can see, but everybody else will eventually feel. They don't see it yet, but they will. It's when God starts pulling up the old flooring. He's knocking down walls. He's clearing out clutter. And not because you're broken, but because the version of you that's emerging inside deserves more space, more truth, more purpose, more peace. So we got to make room. And so metanoia is when your identity meets your destiny, when your healing meets honesty, when your growth meets courage. It's the moment that your soul stops asking for permission and starts demanding alignment. And if you've been feeling restless, out of place, misunderstood, or just uncomfortable in rooms that you used to fit in, I need for you to understand that that is not failure. That is not regression. That is not you being dramatic. That is metanoia tapping on your spirit saying, it is time. You are evolving. Stand up. Let's rise. But just like any other version of our healing, there always has to be some sort of breakdown before the breakthrough. Welcome in, Chris. Y'all tell Chris the word of the day, y'all. There is a breakdown before the breakthrough. Expanded and elevated, right? That's the whole goal, for us to be expanded and elevated. And so let's take metanoia, a little deeper, right? Because it doesn't come wrapped in pretty paper. It usually arrives in a season that feels like things are falling apart. See, before the breakthrough, there is almost always a breakdown, a moment that humbles you, stills you, sometimes even scares you. And it's not because God is trying to break you. Thank you, Chris. It's because he's trying to break you open, right? He's not trying to break you down. He's trying to break you open. And when I say open, I mean open to truth, open to clarity, open to realignment, open to the version of you that doesn't have room to breathe under the weight of who you keep pretending to be. And that breakdown doesn't always announce itself, right? It doesn't always begin with drama. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes that breakdown shows up as a shift in your spirit that you can't explain. A sudden sensitivity to things that you used to tolerate. A heaviness that doesn't quite feel like depression, more like some sort of preparation. Or a discomfort that whispers, this ain't it anymore. Right? A fatigue that isn't from a lack of sleep, more from a lack of fulfillment. It's the moment when the life that you built around your wounds no longer fit the person that you're becoming. And the part that I really need you guys to hear is that metanoia starts when the cost of staying the same becomes more painful than the fear of changing. Do I need to say that again? Metanoia starts when the cost of staying the same becomes more painful than the fear of changing. It pushes you into a crossroads. You begin to ask yourself, do I stay where it's familiar or do I step into what's forming? And sometimes that crossroads is triggered by losing someone you thought would be your forever person. Perhaps it was being betrayed by a friend you trusted with your whole heart. Hitting burnout after years of putting everybody else first. Or realizing the version of yourself you created for survival can't guide you into your destiny. Or maybe it was just waking up one day and saying, I deserve better than this. And I deserve better from me. See, metanoia will confront you with the truth. Not to shame you, but to free you. Because you can't heal inside the same mindset, the same habits, the same environment, the same self-neglect that wounded you. Welcome in, Monique. This is like a sacred rupture, a holy shaking, right? Where the old identity begins to crumble. Not because it was bad, but because it's done, right? It's expired. The season is over. And I think that that's the part that nobody's talking about, right? That sometimes healing begins with grieving the version of you that kept you alive, right? And we have to grieve that version in order to become the version that will continue to help us live. See, old Helen kept me alive, right? Old Shantae, she kept me alive. But I have to let her go so that way I can become the version that will help me to continue to live. That's the breakdown before the breakthrough. It's not the ending. It's simply a doorway. And once you walk through that doorway, life starts shifting in ways that you cannot ignore, you cannot avoid, you cannot unfeel. There was a season in my life where I felt like I was being stretched in every single direction all at once. I'm talking about spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like just all the directions. And that season taught me more about metanoia than any book, any sermon, any motivational speech or quote ever could, right? I remember this one morning I woke up feeling heavy, not physically, but spiritually. It was like I was carrying everybody else's expectations, everybody's needs, everybody's emergencies. And I had gotten so used to being the strong one that I didn't even realize I hadn't checked in with myself in months. I was pouring, but nothing was pouring back into me. I was showing up for people who had the audacity to not even show up for themselves. And I kept telling myself, it's fine. I'm fine. I'll just push through. Because that's what we do, right? We just push through. We push through until pushing becomes our personality. But that particular morning, I can remember just sitting on the edge of my bed and I felt something crack. Not emotionally, but spiritually. It was a breakdown, right? In fact, no, it wasn't a breakdown. It was a realization, right? It was a revelation. It sounded like a whisper, but when I say, that whisper hit me like a truth bomb. And what I heard was, you can't keep abandoning yourself to be everything for everybody else. And that was my metanoia moment. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. No tears, no screaming, just clarity. I realized that I wasn't tired from life. I was tired from living a version of myself that wasn't aligned anymore. I had outgrown my silence. I had outgrown my self-sacrifice. I had outgrown my lack of boundaries. I had outgrown the identity that said, as long as everybody else is okay, I'm okay. The lie that I had been living for years was that healing happens when you fix the situation. But I learned that that wasn't the case. Healing happens when you fix your participation in the situation that keeps wounding you. See, I was going through life trying to be Olivia Pope. I wanted to be the fixer, right? So I thought if I just fix the situation, if I just solve the people's problems, then life would be good. But I had to learn that healing only happens when you fix your participation in the situation that keep wounding you. And so that morning didn't magically change my life, but it did change my direction. It changed my decisions. It changed the way that I show up for myself. And that was the moment that my soul simply said, I'm done shrinking. I'm done pretending. I'm done being last on my own to-do list. And from that moment forward, everything started shifting. Not because life got better, but because I did. And so let's talk about what metanoia looks like in real life. Okay? How it shows up in our everyday life. Because I promise you, some of y'all listening to me right now are already in it and you're calling it stress. You're calling it mood swings or isolation, when at the end of the day, it's just really transformation beginning to rise up in you. And so here's what metanoia looks like in real time. Number 1, your appetite for chaos fades. Drama that used to feel familiar is now exhausting. You don't want to argue. You don't want to prove your point. You don't want to fight to be heard. All of a sudden, peace starts tasting better than being right. That's metanoia. Number 2, you stop trying to force connections. People you used to chase, you no longer have the energy for. Conversations that you used to tolerate now drain your spirit. You realize that holding on is not loyalty, it is self-betrayal. That's metanoia. Number 3, your spirit becomes sensitive to misalignment. It could be a job, a friendship, a vibe, a habit, right? Something that used to feel normal now feels wrong. You feel uneasy in spaces where you used to shrink to fit. But that discomfort that you feel, that's not anxiety. That's your spirit telling you it is time. That's metanoia. Number 4, you start grieving who you used to be. Not because she was bad, right? But because she was built for survival, not destiny. No problem, A Dot. You can always catch the replay on YouTube if needed. So again, number 4 is you start grieving who you used to be. Not because you're bad, right? But because that version of you was built for survival, not for destiny. And so you start realizing that you can love the old you and still outgrow it, right? That grief is a holy part. That's metanoia, right? Number 5, you become more honest with yourself. And when I say more honest with yourself, I'm talking about radically honest, painfully honest, liberatingly honest. You stop blaming other people and you start asking, why did I accept that in the first place? Why did I silence myself? Why did I settle? What wound was I trying to protect? That's self-accountability right there. That self-accountability, that's metanoia. Or how about number 6? You start choosing yourself unapologetically. Not in a selfish way, but in a healing way, right? You start setting boundaries. You're saying no without guilt. You rest before burnout. You speak up before resentment forms. You walk away before your peace gets too expensive. Choosing yourself becomes your new love language. That's metanoia. Or what about when your circle starts to shift, right? Number 7, your circle shifts, sometimes drastically. See, when you grow, everything connected to your old identity starts to get tested. Some people fall away. Some reveal their true intentions. Some can't hide, the fact that they can't handle the healed version of you. But the right people, they rise with you. What's up, CC? Welcome in. Right? The right people rise with you. And so that realignment that is taking place when your circle starts getting a little smaller, people start falling off. Yeah, Kale, that's metanoia. And then, there's a point where you start living from your truth, not your trauma. Right? Hey, Yoli, welcome in. Number 8, you start living from your truth, not your trauma. You stop operating in survival mode. You stop responding from old wounds. You stop expecting disappointment before joy. You start trusting yourself more deeply. That's metanoia. Thank you guys for joining. For those of you who just came in, our word for today is metanoia. Somebody put it in the chat. They need to know how to spell it. Metanoia. And right now we're talking about, living metanoia in our real life, day to day, right? Understanding what it is. Number 9, your spirit starts craving more. Still standing, welcome in. Your spirit starts craving more. And when I say more, I'm talking about more depth, more stillness, more honesty. And this is where small talk feels empty, where surface level relationships feel draining. You want conversation that stretch your spirit versus, draining you. You want environments that nourish your soul. That hunger for more is not about you being picky. Thank you so much. It's not about you being picky. It's about being aligned, right? That's metanoia. And then number 10, I'll give you one more. Number 10, you begin to see yourself clearly. Thank you, CC. And when I say you begin to see yourself clearly, not through the lens of your past, not through the eyes of people who have mishandled you over the years, not through the voice of insecurity, but you begin to see yourself with compassion, with softness, with strength, right? That clarity, that confidence, that courage, that's metanoia. And so, the other part of metanoia that people rarely talk about is the quiet moment when the shift actually starts to happen inside of you, right? And it starts happening inside long before anything changes around you. Because we know that real transformation isn't just about, switching jobs or ending relationships or decluttering your house. Not at first. That real transformation starts when your mindset, when your spirit, when your self-love all begin to align for the very first time, right? This is the inner turn, right? That moment your healing becomes less about what broke you and more about what's becoming possible in you. Welcome in, butterfly. And so when we think about metanoia, we first have to start to think about our mindset, right? When your thoughts stop fighting your growth. Because the thing about metanoia, it rewrites your internal script. You begin to question thoughts that once felt like facts, right? You begin debunking all of the myths. You start noticing, the lies that you inherited, those lies that you internalized or were conditioned into. And little by little, your language shifts. You go from, why is this happening to me? To, what is this trying to teach me? Right? You start to ask yourself different questions. And that's because you stop seeing challenges as punishments and you start seeing them as invitations to evolve. Thank you. You go from I'm not enough to I deserve to be loved with ease and treated with honor. Because you stop negotiating your worth. You go from I'm stuck to I'm becoming. Because stuck often means that you're in the hallway between who you were and who you're meant to be. Or you go from I need them to I need me. Right? And that's because you finally understand that the relationships you build with yourself sets the tone for every relationship that comes around you. So metanoia doesn't start with a changed life. It starts with a changed mind. And so when you work on the mind, the next is the spirit, right? When our peace becomes non-negotiable. See, there's this moment in metanoia where your spirit becomes louder than your stress, where intuition starts speaking in full, complete sentences, where God's guidance simply becomes undeniable, where you finally trust the nudges that you used to ignore. You stop forcing what drains you. You stop fighting what confuses you. You stop begging for what's beneath you. Your spirit all of a sudden starts to crave stillness over noise, depth over distraction, alignment over attachment. You start seeking purpose over performance and healing over habit. You start choosing peace even when peace means letting go. And you stop taking, every closed door personally, because now you understand, right? You've reached that level of healing where you understand that that rejection is redirection. That delays are protection. And endings are often just upgrades in disguise. It's like your spirit rises before your circumstances do. And so we got the mindset, we got the spirit. Now let's get into the self-love, right? When you become the home that you've always been searching for. And that's the part where something beautiful truly happens, right? Because you stop abandoning yourself. You stop betraying your boundaries. You stop shrinking to be digestible. You stop dimming to keep the peace. You stop loving people harder than you love yourself. Self-love becomes less about bubble baths and more about self-respect. Because now you start honoring your energy. You start listening to your body. You start nurturing your inner child. You start protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. You stop performing, stop pretending. You stop explaining yourself to people who have always been committed to misunderstanding you. And now you just start showing up as the woman that you are becoming. Even on the days you're still healing, still learning, still rising. This is the part of metanoia where you walk into rooms differently. Not louder, not smaller, but clearer. This is the stage where you begin to move with intention. You speak with conviction, right? You love yourself with a fullness that can't be faked or shaken. And when that inner turn happens, I'm telling you, your soul will graduate. It is truly an occasion for a celebration, you guys, because your heart grows wiser. Your boundaries sharpen. Your peace becomes a priority instead of an afterthought. And suddenly you've began to embody the version of yourself that you once prayed for. This is where you start walking like the healed version of you, even before you feel fully healed, right? Because we know that it's an ongoing process. We're going to be healing, but I'm going to carry myself as if I'm already healed, because we know that healing is not a destination, right? Healing is simply a direction. It's a path. It is a process, the becoming. And each and every one of you are becoming something powerful. Look, before we go any further, I want you guys to just pause with me. Not mentally, right? Or not just mentally, but I want you to pause with your spirit too. I want you to let your shoulders relax, unclench your jaw, release your breath. Just let your soul settle into this moment. I want you to hear me when I say that healing is not just what we talk about. Okay? It is what we are willing to feel. Take a slow breath in. Hold it. And exhale. Again, deep breath in. Hold it. And exhale. Good. Now I want you to turn inward. Let your heart speak louder than your fear. Let go of your ego. Right? Let it be louder than your past. And I want you to ask yourself, what part of me is ready to shift? Not the part that your family wants to change, not the part that your friends comment on, but the part you know has been whispering that I'm not aligned here anymore. It might be a mindset, a relationship, a habit, a belief, or even just a story that you've been repeating that no longer matches the woman you are becoming. Where is your spirit nudging you forward? I want you to let that answer rise. Ask yourself, what old pattern is God gently asking me to release? Because God doesn't snatch. He nudges. He whispers. He gives signs, and then more signs, until the lessons become too clear for us to ignore. So ask yourself, what patterns keep showing up in your relationships? And not just in your relationships, in your self-talk, in your choices, in your coping, your boundaries. What cycle are you finally ready to stop calling normal? Let that truth come up without judgment. Ask yourself, what version of me am I grieving? And what version of me am I giving birth to? Because growth is not just about evolution. It's about mourning the versions that kept you alive. Maybe you're grieving the soft girl that had to toughen. Maybe you're grieving the hopeful girl who was disappointed. Maybe you're grieving the self-sacrificing woman that you used to be. Right? Even though she exhausted you, you still feel lost. And that's okay. Because you know what? Grief is not a setback. Grief is actually a graduation. Right? But I want you to ask yourself, what version of me is quietly forming beneath the surface? What new identity is waiting on my yes? What future self is tapping me on my shoulder saying it's time to come home? Let her speak. Ask yourself, where am I still shrinking and why? Right? Because we know that shrinkage is a symptom of a wound. It means you don't feel safe being fully you, not yet anyway. So you have to ask yourself, where do you mute yourself? Where do you play small? Where do you dim your gifts, your brilliance, your beauty, your voice? And more importantly, why? Is it fear, rejection, old conditioning, somebody else's opinion, or a childhood memory? Maybe a broken belief? Let that awareness surface, because awareness is the first step to liberation. Ask yourself, what would choosing myself look like today? Not tomorrow, not next year, not when things calm down, but today, right now. And for you, choosing yourself might look like saying no, resting, setting a boundary, not responding, walking away, drinking water, starting therapy. Maybe it's turning off your phone, praying, crying, forgiving yourself, being honest with yourself, finally asking for help. Or maybe it's just sitting in silence and breathing. What is one thing you can do today that says, I matter too? Let your heart answer that. Now I want you to close your eyes if you can. Place your hand over your chest. And I want you to feel your heartbeat. Feel your breath. Feel your presence. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And gently release. I want you to know that you are safe. You are here. You are growing. And you are allowed to honor everything that just came up. Let it land. Let it grow roots. Let it become the beginning of your next chapter. You deserve metanoia. And you know, we can also do our self-care through metanoia, right? Let's talk about how to care for yourself in the middle of that deep change. Because when you're in a season of metanoia, you're not just growing, you're shedding, you're grieving, you're releasing, and you're rebuilding all at the same time. This kind of transformation requires a different kind of self-care, a deeper self-care, like a soul level self-care, not the pretty self-care that the internet talks about, not the polished, aesthetic, labeled self-care, but I'm talking about the self-care that nourishes the parts of you that are evolving. It starts with giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. We have to understand that rest is not a reward. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not optional. When your spirit is shifting, your body feels it. Your nervous system feels it. Your heart feels it. And so sometimes the most spiritual thing that you can do is just sit your behind down and breathe. That's it. That's all. Just sit still. Be still and know that God is moving, right? So sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is just sit down. Be still. It's also important that you hydrate like you're washing your spirit clean. And so, yeah, that means drink water. But don't just drink it to quench your thirst. I need you to drink it with intention. Sip it slowly. Let every single gulp be a reminder that I am replenishing myself, that I am choosing me today. So again, hydrate like you're washing your spirit clean. And I'm going to need y'all to journal like you're writing your freedom papers. I want you to write without worrying about grammar. Don't care about the spelling, not the judgment. I want you to write the truth that you've been avoiding. Write the prayers that you don't say out loud. Write the feelings that you weren't allowed to express as a child. Journaling is where clarity meets courage. And so I need you to journal like you are writing your freedom papers. Because what is hidden between those pages is what is actually going to set you free. We have to get out of here. And journaling is a very easy way for us to get out of our head, to clear out the noise. Welcome in, Papa Smurf. Hey, Ezra, welcome in. I also need you to move your body in ways that feel like self-respect. Not punishment, not pressure, not perfection, just movement. That means stretching, walking, dancing in the kitchen while you're cooking. Just laying on the floor and letting your body melt into the carpet. Right? Because movement reminds us that you're alive and becoming. So we got to move. Move something, shake something, right? I also need you to curate your environment, right? Set the mood for you. Clean your space. Open your blinds. Light a candle. Play some calming music. Get your Room to Breathe playlist on, right? Throw away things that feel heavy. Remove reminders of the things that you've outgrown. Your environment should support your evolution, not suffocate it. For some of us, the reason why it's hard for us to let go of things in our past is because we are surrounded by all the things that remind us of our past. And like I said, your environment should support your evolution, not suffocate it. Hey, Marta Rochelle, welcome in. I also need you to begin to practice your spiritual intimacy. And what do I mean by practicing spiritual intimacy? I need you to talk to God. I need you to pray out loud, sit in silence, listen, cry if you need to, praise in your car, journal your prayers, say, I don't know what's happening, but I trust you, right? Because healing isn't all knowing. Sometimes healing is just simply the surrender. But it starts with having the conversation. Talk to God. Start praying out loud. We also have to begin to nurture our inner child. And I think this is a part that we know we need to do, but we don't necessarily know how to do it. And so when I say nurture your inner child, I'm talking about go buy yourself some flowers. You don't have to wait for someone else to do it. Go buy yourself some flowers. Color in a coloring book. Watch your favorite childhood movie. Lovely for sure. Welcome in. Give yourself the softness you didn't always get growing up. Your metanoia is rewriting parts of you that were wounded, and your inner child deserves to be held with tenderness. So show her some love. And you have to protect your peace like it's your paycheck, right? Yesterday, we talked a lot about this. It is time to stop entertaining drama that you didn't ask for. Stop texting people who drain you. Stop explaining yourself to people who have no intentions on ever understanding you. Your peace is too expensive to lose. You have to understand that it is priceless. Hold on to it. Protect your peace like it is your paycheck. And let yourself feel without rushing the process. I think a lot of us make the mistake on trying to heal quickly. I just want to get through it. I just want to be over it. I want to move past it. I want to be healed. Right? But we have to learn to slow down and let ourselves feel without rushing the process. That means cry, laugh, be angry, be hopeful, be confused, be inspired. I just want to remind you that you are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. Like I always say, I can be beautiful and a disaster. That's the whole masterpiece and work in progress. Exactly, Mars. You can't rush your healing. Feel all the feels. All of the emotions that rise, sit with them for a moment. See what they're trying to teach you. A beautiful disaster. Absolutely. And lastly, on my tips, number 10 is celebrate tiny wins. You gotta celebrate the wins, guys. Even the tiniest ones, because small things count. You said no. Celebrate. You rested. You took a nap today. Celebrate it. You didn't respond to that text message. Celebrate it. You expressed a boundary. Celebrate it. You took a shower today, Mars. Celebrate it. Right? You spoke kindly to yourself today. Celebrate it. Because these things are not minor. These things are miracles. So celebrate them. And metanoia is not a storm that you survive. Okay, guys? It is a season that you participate in. And the way you care for yourself during this season determines how you're going to rise from it. So it's all about you. This is that work that we have to put into play. Because again, metanoia is not the storm. It is simply a season. But what we do in this season determines how we come out on the other side. And so, yeah, I don't know, guys. Like I said, when I learned the word metanoia, I was like, oh, I got to do a deep dive on this, because I definitely, when I first heard it, I was like, ooh, I've been through several seasons of this, and I didn't even know that the word existed. I didn't know that it was a real thing. And then I started looking into it, and I was like, I got to go tell my people what metanoia is, honey. Thank you. I got to go tell them what it is, because I think that it is something that is truly amazing and something that we can all resonate with, because we've all been in a season of metanoia. Many of us are currently in a season of metanoia, right? There's this shift taking place. And for those of you who may have been a little tardy to the party, metanoia is our word of the day. And it is a Greek word that means deep, transformative change of heart, mind, and spirit. And so, again, for some people, metanoia, no, I think that's metanoma. Metanoia, for some people, looks like outgrowing old patterns, releasing beliefs that kept you small, seeing the truth about what you've been tolerating. Maybe it's just choosing peace over chaos, or realizing that you deserve more, walking away from the things that no longer align, or even becoming the version of you that you've been afraid to meet. And so when you think about metanoia, it's a moment of clarity. It is a spiritual awakening, an emotional reset, a mindset shift, or a rebirth from the inside out. So yeah, I wrote down some affirmations for us on the topic. And so I want to take a moment just to speak life over us. You guys will always be able to go to the replay on YouTube if you want to take, note of these. I'm going to repeat each one twice. So for those of you who are journaling or writing them down, hopefully that'll give you time to do so. But again, you'll be able to find them, in the replay as well. So, but I'm a big believer in speaking life over yourself, and affirmations are a great way for you to do that. And I believe that they're just gentle, powerful reminders, right? So wherever you are right now, place your hand over your heart. Again, close your eyes if you can. Don't worry about tapping. Don't worry about typing. Just take this moment for you. Like I said, close your eyes if you can, if it's safe. If not, come back later to YouTube and do it later. But put your hand on your heart. Feel your chest rise and fall. And this is your opportunity to repeat after me, not loudly, but truthfully. Let these words soak into your spirit. I am allowed to outgrow who I used to be. I am allowed to outgrow who I used to be. I release the version of me that survived and make room for the version of me that will thrive. I release the version of me that survived and make room for the version of me who will thrive. I deserve peace, softness, clarity, and ease. I deserve peace, softness, clarity, and ease. I am worthy of the love that I have always given others. I am worthy of the love that I have always given to others. I am becoming the woman I prayed for. I am becoming the woman I prayed for. I honor the shifts happening to me, even when I don't fully understand them. I honor the shifts happening within me, even when I don't fully understand them. I will not shrink to make others comfortable. I will not shrink to make others comfortable. My boundaries are acts of self-love and self-respect. My boundaries are acts of self-love and self-respect. I trust the timing of my healing and the direction of my spirit. I trust the timing of my healing and the direction of my spirit. I choose myself without apology, without guilt, without hesitation. I choose myself without apology, without guilt, and without hesitation. I release what is heavy and make space for what is holy. I release what is heavy and make space for what is holy. I am walking into alignment softly and confidently. I am walking into alignment softly and confidently. I am not who I was, and that is my evolution. I am not who I was, and that is my evolution. I am safe. I am growing. I am held, and I am guided. I am safe. I am growing. I am held, and I am guided. Take one more breath in. Hold it. Let it go. I want you to know that you are becoming. You are transforming. You are rising. And you are enough every single step of the way. Welcome in, Twista. Welcome back, Papa Smurf. I see you, Jordan. You've done something beautiful today. And it was simply that you made space for yourself. Space to feel, space to reflect, space to shift, space to heal. And I don't take that lightly. This room, this virtual room, right? This moment, this breath, it all matters. And so I need for you to understand that metanoia is not a one-time event. It is a journey, a becoming, a holy unfolding that happens one small choice at a time. A truth, that you're finally willing to face, a boundary you honor, or a pattern that you break, a version of you that you lovingly release so something stronger, wiser, and softer can rise. And so if anything today touched your spirit, brought clarity, or opened something in you, please go ahead and drop a green heart in the chat. Again, carry that word with you. Look deeper into it, because metanoia is something that is for all of us. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure that you've hit the follow button, that you've subscribed to our channel, so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I don't want you guys to miss a moment of this healing, because listen, I got content for days for us, y'all. And remember, if you need resources or inspiration or tools for your healing, or maybe you just need a little reminder that you're not walking this journey alone, check out our digital website at theselfcareclub.org. Hey, Tracy. On our website, you will find, affirmative apparel, motivational merch, and most importantly, a lot of free resources that were created to nourish your spirit and support your evolution. Absolutely. Be sure to check it out. There are tons of resources over there, and I'm constantly adding new resources every week. So just like we are evolving, that website is too. But I want you guys to embrace metanoia. It is something, it's not just that simple shift in thinking, right? Like I said, metanoia is the kind of inner transformation that changes the way that you see yourself, the way that you see your life, your purpose, and your relationships. And I think that that's something that we all need, right? Thank you, Tracy. I think that that's something that we could all use. Everybody could use a little metanoia. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? You so happy. Listen, I'm so happy we found each other. That's God doing his big one for real. Okay? Like, I'm thankful and grateful every day for each and every one of you. Yes. Yes. Okay, wait. Somebody said, okay, so you said I'm late. What is the purpose of metanoia? Okay. So the purpose of metanoia is transformation. Okay. I have you, wait, what? Can you help me get back up off the floor? You have me laying, laughing out loud. Girl, what I done did? What I do? Look, I'm like, what did I do? Hold on, let me answer this question, y'all. So you asked what the purpose of it was. The purpose of metanoia is transformation, but not on the outside, but from the inside out. So when you think about metanoia, it shows up when you wake up, right? It shows up to wake you up, right? To redirect you, to pull you into alignment with the truth of who you are and who you are becoming. Girl, I can't with you, Brooks. So metanoia is like that soul level shift that helps you stop surviving and start living. And so when you think about metanoia, it is designed to break the cycle of old patterns, to realign you with your truth, to invite like a deeper self-awareness, to help you start recognizing things like why you think the way that you think, why you accept what it is that you accept, why you shrink where, in the places that you shrink. And it's to help you release the version of you that was created in survival. So it helps you to let go of the over-functioning you, the self-sacrificing you, the people-pleasing you, the silent you, or the wounded you. Not because that version of you was wrong, but because that version of you has completed their assignment. And so it is to guide you into an emotional, spiritual, and mental maturity because it elevates your discernment. And it's something that shifts you towards alignment and peace and purpose to help you choose you. So I guess long story short, the purpose of Metanoia is to transfer your mind. I'm sorry, transform. I said transfer. Take your mind out. No, it's to transform your mind, renew your spirit, and reposition your life so you can walk in truth and wholeness and alignment. It's the beginning of a new way of being. Like I said, it's kind of the rebirth from the inside out. So I hope that helps. Maybe I'll do a blog about it too. I'll do a blog for you today to kind of go over the definition and some steps. So yeah, fine. I'll create a blog about it for you too, because metanoia is like the new norm, y'all. But yeah, so I love each and every one of you to life. I thank you so much for being here, you guys. And before we part ways, as always, let me leave you with a little love and light. I encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even if it feels out of reach. And know that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't you ever be afraid to take up space, speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. As I said, I love each and every one of you to life. And I am praying that your day is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and yes, on purpose, filled with purpose. And in case no one's told you lately, I love you. I honor you. And I'm cheering for every version of you. And when I say every version of you, I mean the past, the present, and the becoming. This has been a Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Remember, tomorrow's Friday, so we will be live on YouTube only. So TikTok family, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Room to Breathe Project. So that way you can join us for tomorrow's conversation at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for everyone else, I'll see you on Monday. Thank you.